I'm Chloe O. Davis. I am a creator, a performer, and debut author of the Queen's English, the LGBTQIA+ dictionary of lingo and colloquial phrases. But I'm just an all-around creative. So a little bit about my background is actually come from the entertainment industry, whether it be dance or acting. So I can honestly say that the idea to write the dictionary came from being in an artistic environment. Actually started researching for the dictionary in 2006. And the idea spawned because I was part of a dance company called the Philadelphia Dance Company in Philadelphia, USA, also known as Philadanco. And a lot of the men in the company were part of the ballroom scene, right? So we know the ballroom scene now, it's become very mainstream because of RuPaul's Drag Race and also Pose and even Legendary on HBO. But also a big mainstream introduction was through the documentary Paris is Burning, which is absolutely wonderful. But a lot of the words like fierce, over, slay, work, these words, back in 2006, weren't necessarily mainstream, but what I was finding is that, ballroom has such a vibrant culture when it comes to expression through words and language. And I was really, really interested in that, and also just learning the history of the ballroom scene. And so that's what kind of got me started, because I told a friend, I was like, this is like a fully developed language and there needs to be a dictionary for it. And I was challenged and they were like, okay, well, when you write it, call it the Queen's English. And we know this idea of the queen, right? Queen, whether it's associated in the ballroom scene being a butch queen, which is a cisgender gay male, or if it's a femme queen, which is usually a trans feminine or transgender woman, or the drag queen, right? Or just a queen in general, which is an honorific term that people in the family being, if you're a part of the, gay and queer community, you're but it's an honorific term like, hey, queen, or yes, queen, it is celebratory. And I started to dive deep into learning more about language and learning more particularly about why language is created. And first and foremost, I say when it comes to the umbrella of the LGBTQIA+ community, it is because we need to articulate an experience to truly affirm ourselves, because mainstream has not given us that opportunity. So we need to take it for ourselves. So that's why language is created, whether it's coded or whether it's forthright. But particularly when it comes to language surrounding the Black gay community or the Black queer community or the Black trans community, particularly in the ballroom scene, it was a place to give yourself self-worth, right? Because it's particularly in the 1970s, late 1960s, the ballroom scene was created to give a safe space to those who were Black and queer, right? Yes. Those who were dealing with homophobia, transphobia, and racism, you know what I mean? And young people who were rejected from their homes because of their identity or their sexual orientation. And so the ballroom was created. And me just learning about the essence of the words, but the essence of the culture and the history just took over me. And I was really, really excited about diving into culture, particularly Black culture, particularly, culture that was not taught to me, you know what I mean? Because of whatever stigma. And then also being a Black bisexual woman, I wanted to create a resource that affirmed who I am, right? I find that there weren't many resources in general that articulated experience that were non-heteronormative, right? Non-heteronormative, that word, if it's not heterosexual, if it's not cisgender, we don't want anything to do about it. And I was just tired of that because I wanted to fully understand and who I am and stand, affirmed and proud in that. So I dug for resources, I wanted to learn more words. I wanted to learn history. And I think because of that, it just propelled into this larger scale of diving into language that truly articulates humanity, right? And it just so happened that, it's the LGBTQI+ community and the diversity within the gay and queer community and the intersectionality with that and why words are important, and the evolution and the etymology of words. So it's interesting, right? That I am a debut author, even though I've been working on this material for over 15 years, but it was in tandem of being a creator and in this artistic world of being a dancer and actor that allowed me to be in such a culture that introduced me to the diversity that lives, the diversity of culture and identities, but also language that lives into this larger umbrella of being gay and queer. You know, so I talk about the ballroom scene, but there's the leather community, you know, there's the lesbian community, there's the Black lesbian community versus the white lesbian community, right? There's the Black gay male community versus the white gay male community, right? So, you know, for instance, otters, twunks, wolves, that's very white, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's not necessarily, you know, Black language, Black gay language, you know, and the same thing with lesbian, like Black lesbians, it's like diva femme, it's stud, it's soft stud, it's not, it's, you know, you can say butch, but it's not really that, you're a stud, you know, so it's just language. I love not only language, I love the stories behind the language, you know, that's what really connected me to writing this and seeing the vast identities, but also the myriad of communities that are represented under this larger gay and queer spectrum. And I think what was most important, I was just really tired of not having resources that I articulated my identity, but tired of having resources that was very focused on one spectrum, one focus. And a lot of times that was from like a white male perspective, right? And that does not cover who I am, and that does not cover who many of us are. And so it was just diving deeper into uncovering, again, the myriad of ways we identify, period, you know?